When I was in 2nd grade, I taught myself how to draw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles so that I could show off to the boys, and I drew a damn good one too. I told John that story, and I'd drawn him a picture of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with
Oh,
the pizza box and everything.
you were trying to get like married,
It had worked in 2nd grade. I thought it might work
and
again.
it did.
Hi, breathers. This is Tracy,
And Lauren,
and this is
the
The
air
Air We
we
Breathe.
breathe.
The topic for today is contrived pleasures. Last week we did guilty pleasures.
Guilty pleasures is something that you have pleasure in that you don't want to share with the masses.
Exactly. So if you're interested in that and haven't listened, you can go back to our previous episode. Today we're talking about kind of the opposite, which we're going to call contrived pleasures, which is like I'm cultivating an interest for others so that people will be impressed with me. So I'm going to learn about football so I can talk to my guy friends about football. If anybody's
Mm.
watched the show New Girl, there's a time where Jess is the main character and she wants her boyfriend's best friend to like her. She wants Nick's friend, Coach, to like her. So she pretends to be a Pistons fan so that she can be friends with him, even though she could not care less about basketball. And then she's like suffering through it just because she wants to be his friend.
Mm.
So for our Chicago fans, her boyfriend is a Bulls fan. So being a Pistons fan was a real slap in the dick.
Kicking the balls.
Correct.
So I guess my version of that would be my last relationship was he was like the antithesis of my marriage. He was the token bad boy, made motorcycles. He was a mechanic. I wanted to take interest what he took interest in. I wanted to learn about it. And I was like, let's play a game. You're going to pull a tool out and I'm going to see what you use it for as a game.
What?
Yeah. And
You came up with this?
yes,
Was it sexual?
no.
Were you watching him work on a vehicle?
Most of our together time was in the shop. That was me being like, I wanna integrate your world into my life. Willingly did it.
Do you look back on that as I learned a lot about cars then?
Yes.
Because I dated a mechanic and I feel like I learned a lot about
I
cars,
did
whether I wanted to or not.
and I can hold a conversation is one of those things where I took in like a method actor, and now it's a part of my knowledge on things, so I can hold a conversation if they're talking about cars. And I knew a little bit about cars too before I met him, where I could make it look like I knew what I was talking about. And it furthered that knowledge to a point where I could
Yeah.
hold my own in another conversation to
Right.
try and impress members of the opposite sex.
I think you get a real kick out of being unexpectedly masculine.
Yes.
You love when people find out you can shoot a gun.
Yes.
You're
I can
like,
light a cigar. I don't like them, I don't like the scent, but I can definitely light one
do
better than
you
most men.
are you proud of that even if it's in front of a bunch of other women? Does it hit the same or is it for dudes? And yourself. It's for yourself.
It's for
But
myself.
is it for yourself to impress dudes or it's just for
Both.
yourself? Oh, so it feels equal though?
Yeah.
There you go.
There's a moment where you wanna be a girly girl and you wanna look like that damsel, but there's also a level of, I also want to look or not I also wanna feel and look empowered enough to be able to hold my own with the opposite sex. It's a weird dichotomy of feeling comfortable with being soft and also feeling empowered by being masculine.
Do you think in your mind masculinity and power are go hand in hand? And so when you're around dudes, you're like, I'm just as powerful as you, but when you're around women, it's like they're gonna think I'm powerful. Like that's how you're projecting power
Yes.
by being like, I'm the daddy of the group kind of thing.
But yeah, it's weird. Like playing pool. Like I was told once in my early 20s, it's sexy when I think it was this old like pool shark. He was like 70 years old. It's sexy when a woman can light a cigar and she knows how to play pool well.
And you held on to
And I
that.
held on to that. I was like, that's how I can get attention. It's weird.
But I think it also made you feel powerful.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't sound like you were like suffering through it.
Oh no, it gave me a lot of dopamine when I could play pool with a man and beat him
Oh,
at his
yeah.
own game. That was just I loved it. And or to underestimate me. "Oh, let's play pool." "Oh,
Yeah.
let's." "Do you wanna put money on it?"
Yeah.
"Oh, what are you, a shark?" "No." And then play into that trope and then beat their fucking ass to apple butter.
I'm fascinated by this, by the way, I don't know if you can tell. Do you think that things like smoking a cigar and playing pool, because they were already pre-sanctioned as sexy by this 70-year-old, those were the places where you weren't worried about making yourself small so he would like you? Like, I know that he's gonna enjoy watching me play, so I get to just be myself and kick his ass.
Yes.
Whereas there are aspects of your when you're in a relationship, you don't speak up necessarily, or you
Correct.
haven't historically. It's like you needed the confirmation from a man that this was a sexy thing to do, and so you're like, "Alright, you're welcome, so now I get to just play. Like, I've done my duty to you,
Yes.
so now I get to be myself for a little bit."
Yes.
Oh.
And it was still sexy.
Right.
Yeah.
Guaranteed sexy, now I can be myself.
Correct. It's a comfortable place to be in.
It
And
was
it's
l
a powerful place to be in. Like me and one of my friends, we used to go to this bar in the city and they had, what is it, like free pool Wednesdays or some shit. And they were quarter tables, but they
Yeah.
were free all night. And we used to go there almost every Wednesday and just play because it was free.
Yeah.
And the amount of men that we emasculated was delightful. Like, I remember one time a bunch these Irish kids came into the bar, and had already had the table, and we're like, "Yeah, you guys can play, we can play doubles." And they're like, "What are you guys, pool sharks?" And we're like, "No." So we played straight for the first game. We beat them. And then they're like, "Yeah, you guys are shark and you're shark." I was like, "No, we didn't play for money." And they're like, "Okay, we'll play for drinks." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll give you one. We'll play one-handed." So me and my friend played one-handed the whole game, beat them for drinks. And then crowds would come up and we would have other guys that would be like, "Look, we're gonna play next." And it was where it started at this level of, "I wanna look attractive," to, "I want you to be impressed, and I wanna beat you at something that you claimed was your own game." Like, it was delightful.
Like, it went from being about the men to being like, "Ooh, this fucks you up in a real weird way, and
It
I
triggers you,
love
and I
it."
love every fucking second of it. We would play tournaments, and because we were women, we were automatically put in on the tournament as a handicap. So yes.
Ah,
So if you play 9 ball or you play tournaments for pool, you get put in on level, like, you
mhm.
have a number. Those were how many sets you'd have to win first to beat the set, to go on to the next level. So I would go in the first game, and I was automatically entered in a 3 because I was a female, and the men I would play would be at 7s and 5s and 9s, and I would walk in and blaze the first couple rounds because I
Nice.
was at a 3. I
Yeah.
can beat 3 games, fuck
Yeah.
you. And what would happen would be somebody would pay our entrance fee. We would have a high chance of winning the whole tournament, which we did, and we would split the winnings with the guy. These are the kind of men, they have connections. After the tournament, we would just wanna shoot the shit and get a table and just play for fun, and we would catch attention, and we would be courted, not sexually, monetarily. Like, a lot of them were like, we'll play your and we'll pay your entrance fee, we'll play your entrance
Oh,
fee."
like a Trojan horse, like they wanted to send you in.
Correct, 'cause all the pool players knew that if you're a female, you get put in a 3, and if you actually got good pool players,
Yeah,
you would have people sponsor you.
then you're stacking the deck.
Correct. And that was the first time I actually thought to myself, I'm like, "I am valuable. This is a valuable tool." But it was a world I didn't wanna be a part of because it was slimy. There was
Yeah,
a lot of, like, shadiness.
yeah.
It wasn't legit. But that was the first time in my life where I was like, "It's not my looks. It's not the
You
job
don't
I
need to have
have. You don't
words.
need to have words. You don't you this playing pool was a hot commodity for being a female."
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. Even to this day, if I say on a date, "Where do you wanna go?" "Let's go play pool." And they're like, "Oh, do you know how to play?" I'm like, "A little bit. Haven't played in a long time." And that's always attractive thing to a man because now you're competition.
My husband did, like, Second City and IO and all that stuff when I first met him. So it was, like, a bunch of improvisers, and his sketch shows and his improv group was always really good. But that's, like, what we did every weekend,
Mhm.
and not all of them were good. There was
What do
one
you mean?
like,
It's all perfect.
there was one where that didn't have any actual jokes, it was just a lot of, like, dry, like, hipster humor, and the 2 dudes were in bear costumes, and I kept being like, Why are they?" And my husband and our other friend that was with just the fact that I was so annoyed by it was the only thing that was making them laugh, so they couldn't, like, answer me. But I was like, I just lost an hour and a half of my life. I'm that bitch that if people are like, "Okay, we're gonna go out to dinner, and then we're gonna go see this movie," and I don't wanna see that movie, I will say,
Mhm.
"Great," and I will go to dinner and be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna go to the movie, I don't wanna see it." And the looks I've gotten from people before, "But this is the movie we're going to." And I'm like, "And that is wonderful for you, but I'm not." Ever since I fell asleep during Deep Blue Sea, poor LL Cool J, in high school, I'm like, "You know what? I got
That
better
was a
pla."
horrible movie.
I wouldn't know. Who actually I'll tell you who the first man that I ever tried to like stuff for to impress was my dad,
Ooh.
because
Oh, no, yes.
he was like would tell you what you wanted to watch. So the amount of Charlie Chaplin I saw
Oh.
as a child, and one time it was like
Dude, real talk, though.
one time it was like, I guess I was, like, sitting there watching it on my own, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, In 5 minutes, I'm gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna be cracking up. Just give it 5 minutes." I didn't. I did give it 5 minutes. I
I
did not, in
You
fact.
couldn't imagine.
I didn't. It was never.
The amount of obsession this man had with Laurel and Hardy.
And the Beatles.
Oh, fuck.
And then actually, interestingly enough, as I got older, if I had a band I liked, like I loved the Bare Naked Ladies, I was that bitch, I do not care what that said about me. We would listen to it in my friend Lauren's RAV4 after we'd been up all night partying, and we were going out to the IHOP, and we would listen to that song
N
Alcohol
not
and be
this Lauren,
like,
there's another one.
"Oh, yes, no, sorry, she does not live in the state." But I do remember, yeah, as a kid, like, wanting to, and I think that's a weird thing now that we're talking about it as a parent, is 'cause my kids will do that a little bit, like, they love to make us laugh, but the amount of times that my children have full on refused to watch Star Wars with my husband, and I'm like, "Just tell them they have to." And he's, "No, I don't wanna," but I'm
Oh,
like,
we didn't get a choice,
"We
and
did
I
not get
love
a
it.
choice." And oh, the Bare Naked Ladies thing, to go back to it, is I introduced that to him, and then it became his obsession, and then it was his thing. And so it was like, ew. That was when I was done trying to impress that man.
That's a really funny kind of spin on it, though. Follow this brainworm. We're gonna flip the script. With your dad, you liked the Bare Naked Ladies, and all of a sudden it became his obsession. What would happen if you had an obsession with something or a life hobby or something, and your significant other, your husband, were to become entirely obsessed with that same thing? Would you be like, "Oh, cool," or would you be like, "Ick"?
That's a really good question. I think it depends on what the thing is and how they handle it. My husband and I, when I was teaching on summer break, we had no kids. I'm talking living in the city still. I had no patience for the fact that he would have to go to work. So I'm like, I am going to continue watching Lost, and I wish you the best of luck, because
Mhm.
my capacity to just binge these
Yes.
programs was much higher. I would put away a Harry Potter book in 2 days, and he would
I remember.
savor it for 6 weeks. And he's like, I don't want to be done with it so fast. I'm like, what do you mean? Why? I wanna download this thing into my brain and then just think about it for the amount of hours you're spending.
I can get where he's talking about, though, because sometimes you're reading a book and you're like, you know it's coming to close to the end, and you wanna put it down because you wanna savor that shit.
Listen, Joey, who's putting the book in the freezer from Friends, you're not wrong, but there's no part of my brain that listens to that. My brain just thinks, "Oh, no, it's almost over. Oh, no."
Very,
You
very
know, "No,
slurp.
it's over. It's 3 in the morning. I could maybe get some sleep." I cannot. Like,
I
people
think I
say,
did that with Twilight and 50 Shades, though.
I think I read 4 Twilight books in 3 days.
Yes, I would agree. There was a lot of sleep. There was 4 exact 4 to 5 sleepless nights, and I read the whole
Yeah,
fucking thing.
because I had to know,
I had to.
and I
So good.
am no better for it.
No, not at all. But you better believe when they came out with Midnight Sun, I was like, "Drink, drink."
Okay, my husband read those after I did, like
Mhm.
Twilight, and that I love. When he gets into stuff that's, like, inherently girly, tickles me, especially, like, a teen girl thing.
Okay.
Like, I used to okay, so back to forced to watch things. Sometimes the most interesting thing on the television, I'm sorry to tell you, husband, was top model marathons on
Nope.
fucking VH1. I lived for those. And one day, it's on, whatever, I don't know what he's doing, but we're in the same room, and they walk into judging, and he just like, unsolicited, just looks up and goes, "What are you doing? You come to judging with your hair in a ponytail, a tank top, and jeans. Obviously, they're gonna be mad at you. What are you wearing?" And I was like, "Pause the program." let me appreciate you. Because
Let
I
me
was like,
bask in your beauty.
because it was so genuine. I think that's it. If it's like a genuine, "Hey, I like this too" thing, then it's good. But if it's a, "I'm now the biggest fan,"
Right.
then I'm like, "Ew." It's not a competition, bro.
Correct.
This is
Yeah, so it's strange because I think I liked Game of Thrones so much
yeah.
that in my last relationship, I would talk about it, that
Mhm.
he started watching it, and I took that as, like, an interest,
Yeah.
to share an interest with you, and that was
Did it
attractive.
go well?
Well, yeah, it was great
Well,
until it
it's
got to the
also
end, and ain't nobody I don't care who you were, ain't nobody happy with how that shit ended. Prove me wrong. Nobody here can do that. Nobody can do that in this room.
Lauren, call to action, breathers. Lauren wants somebody to tell her why she should like the end of Game of Thrones.
Thank you.
Who wants to bet that if anybody responds, it's a dude?
And now a quick word from internet famous makeup influencer Beige Camry, who is sponsoring this week's episode. Take it away, Beige. Hey guys, come check out my new tutorial on how to paint on eyeballs on your eyelids so you can sleep through the sports ball game, the Zack Snyder cut, and whatever else you are obligated to watch but still rack up those girlfriend points. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.
When it comes to one-off things, like watching like a movie I'm not interested in or like a show I'm not interested in, I won't do it. I just won't do it.
There is a hack.
Which is
Oh, well,
you
what you
find a movie you like that references another movie, and then you don't have to watch that movie. I've never seen any of the Godfather movies, but what I have seen probably 50 times is You've Got Mail.
Oh my
And do you know
goodness.
what movie they reference constantly in You've Got Mail? The Godfather. So
Taking it to the mattresses.
I have been conning the world into believing that I knew Godfather references from watching it when I don't. Everybody knows the horse head. The minute it's Godfather appropriate, I'm going in with the horse head so I can grab that easy low hanging fruit.
Okay.
And then I got leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yep. And taking
Mo-
it to the mattresses.
yes. And, and
That's yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. I don't even know what I'm saying. Why isn't it in order? And why is only one of the days out of order? You know why I don't know? Because I've never seen The Godfather.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for another episode of Would You Watch It Anyway? With your host, Lauren!
It's showtime. I'm gonna rail off a couple of films for you that were a top 100 male loved, beloved movies. And you're gonna tell me if you just watch it anyway or wouldn't even try it.
Okay.
Scarface,
No, thank you.
The Godfather.
Fake it by quoting You've Got Mail.
All right. Fight Club.
Would have watched it anyway.
Nice.
I certainly didn't watch Fight Club for anyone. I wanted to watch Fight Club because it was very quotable and it was cool. I feel like I watched it maybe with you. And
Yeah, it had a psychological thriller kind of aspect to
yeah,
it. I
like that
did
didn't.
like
That
it.
wasn't like a dude. That does. I see why I do. I know dudes love that movie, but it didn't feel like a dude.
Right. It was like a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel that.
Wait, do the next one.
The Terminator.
Terminator 2 specifically would watch it anyway. Loved Terminator 2. Watched it on my own for my own. Terminator 1 have watched it at the behest of usually people who were older and so thought that was the better Terminator because they were.
See, I'm Terminator 1 and Terminator 3.
Oh my god.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
You think Terminator 3 and okay, but who
I just liked it when the robot was nice, when Arnold Schwarzenegger was not a bad like, I liked it when he was a bad guy, that was the before, and then you go, "He's a nice guy. He just wants to protect her." He was reprogrammed.
the combination of just constant sexual innuendo mixed with the childlike wonder with which you approach the world is astounding to me. Because either your nipples are hard for something, or the only thing you remember from something is that something sad happened to a dog and you cannot abide by it. So that's all that you talk about.
Oh my god, yes.
You also have to factor in that she makes room for daddy. So it's either
Always.
her nipples are hard, a dog died, or she's making a plate for dad.
Damn.
Papa, can you hear me?
Damn.
Don't listen because my nipples are hard.
I feel wrong and Bred for Filth at
Blah.
the same time. Dirty Harry.
Never saw it.
Yeah, same. Animal House. I faked that one so many times.
I would not have watched it anyway and watched it for my husband, but I wasn't mad about it, but I don't think I'd watch it again.
I think I faked it into the relationship until I got married, and then I
Mm.
was forced to watch it, and I could never get those minutes back.
Animal House is one of those that you really walk a dangerous line of being asked if you just didn't get it.
1,000%.
And I'm like-
It was a cult classic, quote unquote. I'm like, okay, there were some funny parts.
And I'm happy for you.
I'm not in that cult. I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid.
There's a line from Mike Birbiglia where if somebody's, do you know the show, blah, blah, blah? And you like try to pretend that you do, what you're really saying is, no, but I love you.
You're so pretty.
Yeah. And so I feel like that was with
Oh,
Animal. Like,
100%.
no, but I love
Mhm.
this for you. Enjoy.
This one's the good, the bad, the ugly.
I dated all three.
Oh my, same. That was one that my dad liked.
I don't even know. Is that a Western?
Yeah.
I do not. The only Western that I, in my known memory, enjoyed was it called Godless? The one that's A Town of All Women.
Oh yes, that was a
That-
good one.
That was great.
That was a good one.
But otherwise, it's not really my genre. It's just like between the racism and the misogyny, I don't even know where to look.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, but there was one Western that I fucked with, that McClintock,
I don't know.
and the other Tombstone. That's the other one I like.
I like
Anyway.
their pizza.
You're hilarious.
Thanks.
First Blood. Oh God, is that a Rambo movie?
No Rambos for me.
Oh God, yeah, not me either.
Anyone sit you down and watch that?
No.
I think perhaps I give off a vibe where people just not try to get me to do shit.
Yeah.
Because Rambo, especially like I'm a little slightly younger, but like our age, because it wasn't like Westerns, right? Like guys,
Yeah.
who were
Yeah,
dating,
yeah, yeah.
maybe your uncles or your dads, or whatever. I'm happy for you. I'm happy. I had Rambo forced on me like that.
I'm gonna say a small prayer for you, but I would say for the Rambo, I was never like, I could not be forced that in boxing, but it's the Predator. My household was very much, that was our Sylvester Stallone go-to, was Predator, and that one I get behind. But Rambo, nah.
Okay, do you want to talk about a contrived pleasure?
Hmm.
How about going over to this woman's home where her mother was in control of the TV set on Easter and trying to explain to your new boyfriend, we're doing our Easter watching of Predator versus Alien. And it's like, what are you going to do? It's not a big home.
Oh my God,
I'm
my
in
mom
it.
loved that movie.
I like the guy with the dreads. That's what I kept saying.
Oh my God,
'Cause
Danny
the-
Glover, man, that was a good movie. What?
The Bible says, on thy Easter day, thine will celebrate with Alien and Predator.
You mean?
Revelation.
In the name of the alien. Listen, it was your mom's love language.
Okay, and I'm glad that you felt that way and
Did
you
you
helped
ever
her.
have to fake it in the beginning, or were you just
I don't think I ever faked it. I just didn't complain.
Correct.
And would just those kind of action movies. I feel like this about a lot of sports too. I grew up watching enough sports that if somebody says to me, "Hey, you want to go? We're gonna go to this bar to watch the basketball game." I'll be like, "Okay, tell me who we're rooting for." Like I know enough of the rules. I can get into it. I can get in the mix. I have been known to be watching my child's show over their shoulder and audibly gasp at the correct times. Like I just will let myself get into it. Which is why like those like the Goodfellas and that kind of stuff, it's harder for me to fake because there's not a lot of action. Predator, it's like an easy thing to
Mm.
just be like, I'm gonna zone out and then, oh, they're running. Why are they running? I'm scared. I will say a guy I dated in my like late teens, early 20s, we were always a Cubs family, but he was like super wanted to watch every game. And at first I was kind of like, all right, we'll see. But I like, it made me, because I had like, a body double, I had somebody else to like tell me the like stuff I didn't know, but I enjoyed it. That it was like, I was like being I felt like I was being Sherpa'd back into something our family loved. Cause like now I don't follow it anymore because it wasn't enough for me to want to keep up with the players and stuff like that. I'll follow the scores and I can jump into a game at any time.
Mhm.
And I feel like that was like at your house with whatever movie was on.
Yep.
It was just like, it's going to be.
Well, we didn't have a choice either. We would wake up on a Saturday and frickin' Men in Black would be on, or Relic,
Here comes
or
the
Independence Day. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but
my
some of
mom.
those are, I would rather wake up to that than Goodfellas.
Well, fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is a muscle that is atrophying with the current generation.
Mhm.
You're going to just watch what's on because your other option is watching paint dry.
They have supercomputers in their hand, they can watch YouTube with an earbud in all day.
Even if they don't, there's enough TVs in our house for them to
Mm.
figure listen, I respect the game. Like, they'll get real crafty. YouTube disappears from one device, figured out how to get their T81 calculator to play it. I gotta respect the game.
Jesus. So everyone's so creative. But do you okay, here's a side question, side quest.
Let's go.
Do you think that is helpful or hurtful on family dynamics? Do you think it was part of bonding that we got together when we were forced to watch a movie under the same roof where we didn't have any
Yes.
other options?
Yes.
Or do you think it's helpful that you do have the ability to
Yes.
be independent and watch your own shit, not be forced to watch shit?
Yes, because and we keep meaning to implement it. We came up with it as a family a couple weeks ago because it was the little one's birthday. And so we said we don't usually let them eat in the living room. I know that I say things that give the impression that I live in a very clean and organized home.
Let the internet think that. It's fine. It's pristine.
Yes, that is it. And it's not just that I'm gonna salvage what rug I have left.
Oh, I love you.
No, it's that I'm so organized and tough and a great disciplinarian. Anyway, so for the little one's birthday, he wanted Chinese food, so we all ate Chinese food. He got to pick what was on TV. We all had to watch it.
Nice.
He had a few options, and that is what he chose. We then agreed to, as I said, somebody should pick each week, and we can't argue, and we just have to watch it.
That's awesome.
Which my husband, I just saw the glint of Star Wars in his eye, and I'm like,
You gotta wait. You can't fangirl it. You gotta just slip it in there.
yeah, it can't be the first one. They have to get used to the program
Correct.
of stop complaining about this.
Correct. It has to be a ritual before you slip that in.
You said a mouthful there, sister.
And then maybe like warm them up with an hors d'oeuvre
An hors d'oeuvre?
of Ewok Adventures. That was such a cute movie.
That would make them not want to watch any Star Wars.
Really? Ewoks? Listen, I love an
Ewok Adventures was the shit, man. That fucking show slapped.
Yeah, no, that's probably not going to happen. But I'm not going to have to watch extra Star Wars.
Yes, I like Star Wars.
Then you can come over that Sunday. You can tap in.
Okay.
Like, Chachi's here. She's picking today. Ewok Adventures. By all means. They're afraid of you. They won't say anything.
Bet, bitch, bet. If everyone is in the room watching and enthralled by what's on the TV, the boy would have I don't want it, and then silence, and everybody's entranced by the movie, and he will join us.
He can't help himself.
He can't help himself. He doesn't want to have any FOMO.
I know. None of them got my JOMO, my joy of missing out. So anyway, I think I'm going to go with Goonies first. And then anytime they complain, I'm just going to yell their name and say, "You're a
Yes.
Goonie." Goonies never say, "I don't like this movie."
I like it.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
my
it.
plan. Thank you for asking.
And then Flight of the Navigator.
I do, though, in answer to the other side of that coin is
Jeez.
I do think for the kids it is nice that they have stuff that speaks to them developmentally.
Yes.
That's like funny to them. And it is really cute to watch how embarrassed they get now. Talk about like guilty pleasures. Like, you want to both make and ruin my daughter's day, sing the theme song to Sophia the First. You want to get an entire group of middle schoolers to just go ham, especially if it's a lot of girls, start singing Sophia the First. You will have a sing-along on your hands in no time. And how many times did you sing the Reading Rainbow theme today? Do you know how many
Feel
times
like
I
I'm
have listened?
attacked.
I have listened to the Reading Rainbow version that has Lil Jon in it.
Just take a look. It's in a book. It's Reading Rainbow.
Okay.
So one more. I'm going to give you one more movie and you're going to let me know, okay?
Okay.
Full Metal Jacket.
I can fake it because of your dad, but I have never seen it because I
Yep.
was busy watching City Lights with Charlie Chaplin.
Oh my God.
Your dad was the champ and I was the tramp.
Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I
Is
actually.
that Napalm in the Morning? Is
Oh
that
my
movie?
God.
Isn't that like very violent?
Only thing
And,
that
like,
comes out of Texas is queers and stairs, and we're fresh out of stairs.
Let's Get Gay? What was it? That sounds like a come on. That's like
Your ass looks like 250 pounds of chewed up bubble gum. Arlie Ermy lived in my house. He was an uncle I never met.
okay. All due to your father.
Yes.
Most of his personality was movie quotes,
Oh my God.
but they were old movie quotes. So you didn't know.
You
We-
couldn't fact check them.
So you're just like, okay. He would tell stories like, one time he told a story about like, eating like however many hard boiled eggs. And my mom was like, "That's cool hand loot." Because I think I'd remember hard boiling 50 eggs. Where did we get 50 eggs? How did our mom not freak out that we were wasting 50 eggs? Like,
Mhm.
really think about it.
Eggs were a lot cheaper back then.
Ooh, 50?
No one's wasting.
I understand that. I'm just
Damn, you're like, "I will defend daddy."
listen.
Daddy coulda done it. Daddy did it. Daddy ate all the eggs. Daddy deviled them first
No,
himself,
he
and then he ate them.
definitely lived his life as if it was a movie quote. Every like, stories he would say, I'd be like, "That reminds me of a movie."
I know, and you know what? There are some stories of his that my mom would be like, "I think that's from." I go, "Don't you dare. That is from my childhood, and that is something that my
It's
uncle did.
untouchable. It's
Just
untouchable.
let him loom large in my rear view." Okay.
Like,
Alright. So, this whole time, you know what I've been thinking about? Your favorite kind of girl that you
mm,
love to discuss.
love it.
The pick me. Go ahead, say it.
Pick Misha.
You love to call a pick Misha. Judge Parks and Rec. So there's a character, Ann Perkins.
That was the Leslie what was her last name?
Leslie Knope's best
Nope.
friend.
Okay,
She
yep.
was a beautiful unicorn narwhal angel elf. And she has this whole series where she dates a bunch of different guys. And we're talking like full cowgirl outfit one day. The next day, like full workout gear.
Like method actor
Like,
extraordinaire.
yeah, she's just, this is what we're into now. And it just immediately becomes a we, and it's all the guys' things. And as good
We
friends, they read her for filth. And she's, oh, God, I really am. Like,
Yee.
as she's got like these weird pink streaks in her hair and that is really resonated with me.
Mm.
You know, those girls that like literally you can look back at pictures and be like, oh, there's you were with a guy who loved football phase. Oh, there's your with grunge singer
Oh, yeah,
phase.
you could definitely clock different areas of your life, dating history-wise, with what you looked like, where you were, where the picture was taken.
Yeah.
Like, you had completely enveloped yourself in that that ideal. Like, football, I was a cheerleader in high school. That's the only way I learned anything about football.
Yeah.
You asked me to go to a football game? Nah, fam. Like, I'll go if it's like everyone's going, it's a big group thing and it's gonna be fun for that one time.
Yeah, you're there for the conversation.
Correct. I'm not there for the game.
Oh my God. As much as I don't go to that many baseball games, when I do go, I'm there for the game. And a lot of my girlfriends, even the ones that actually like baseball, are not there for the game. They're there to chit chat. And sometimes I have to be like,
You're pretty.
same thing with concerts. If I'm like really in it, like I don't want to chat. I want to be in the concert.
I'm like that with concerts. I think with football, I know how to watch a game and I know how to get excited if it's like a Notre Dame. I went to my first Notre Dame game a couple months
Yeah.
ago. And I think that was because it was a memory based, here it comes, daddy. I used to watch a game with my dad,
Yeah.
and there was the first Notre Dame game I've ever been to. And that was more of a sentimental thing. And I was into the game. Like I was
Yeah.
watching the game for the game. But it's like when there's the TV's on, innocuous football game is on with teams I don't care about.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like there's nothing about that game that's gonna catch me. "Ooh, we made a touchdown." Nothing. I don't.
Your ADHD and my ADHD are different ADHDs.
Yes.
Because if I'm like, if you want me to pay attention to you, you probably shouldn't seat me and I won't even, I don't, I'm not like one of those people that's, you're in the middle of talking to me and I'm like, oh, look at that play. I'm not that
That's
into
my
it.
father, yes.
But if my mind will just wander. If there's all
Yes.
this other movement. Like,
Oh my god, yes.
so I'll go around. So like I know enough to know to be like, that was
That was a good play.
that's gonna be,
Oh.
there are excited people about that, I bet. Or if people are yelling in the bar, in the sports bar, I can look over and generally know why.
We'll validate the yelling. I understand. That is a good
Yeah.
move.
I hear you're yelling. I hate your yelling, but I understand you're yelling.
Yes.
Yeah. But I remember when we were young and I knew about football, and one of my older cousins had a crush on a boy who liked football. And so she was going to give me tips on boys, which I realize in retrospect, when you're asking somebody 4 years younger than you for tips on football, like maybe you don't have any of it together in terms of the boys either. So she like literally took out her notepad and I was like, all right, so here's like a first down. And I'm like, short of my children, I don't know who I've ever loved enough to be like, I'm going to seek out the foremost expert in this living room to explain to me football so I can impress. Like, why? You're going to get caught.
And that brings well, you're gonna get caught, but why? This is my thing. Men inherently like to mansplain things, right? They
Yeah.
like to teach, they like to explain things.
Yeah.
So why not play can you explain this to me? Like, I'm not really I would love to be into this sport. Can you help me?
Yeah, but there's a power dynamic to that. That
That's
if
fair.
you, if that's like you have a boyfriend or you like know, but if
Mm.
you're trying to catch his eye, you're like, how can I
Okay.
stand out and be the one that likes
That's the
football?
cool girl.
The cool girl.
Yeah.
How can I be I'm in the tomboy playbook, but not even, I'm not gonna actually play. I just wanna know. That's another, like, dichotomy, right? It's like you're supposed
Mhm.
to know everything about it, but you shouldn't play it.
Whereas my angle was I knew the basis of the game, but I didn't know all of the details.
Yeah.
I would be in a situation watching a game, like a Bears game, and I would try really hard to pay attention. And I'm like, okay, so they made a first down because they passed the line of scrimmage. And I would ask for validation. And then they would be like, oh, yeah, you're right. You actually do know some of the
You
terms.
actually do know some of the terms.
And it would be more of me wanting to seek out information for my own benefit rather than, "Can you tell me what that big line is in the middle of the field? I don't know what it is, boobs,
Yeah.
boobs." And it's like, I came at it from a different angle of knowledge, whereas I don't wanna come into a situation and act like I know and get called out for it. That's fucking embarrassing.
And that's what, especially with sports, I feel like,
Yes,
or
because
like I
diehard
mean,
sport fans will fucking read you for filth.
anything like bands or whatever, but
Yes.
sports is especially one where if you're trying to pretend because you already got these people whipped up into a competitive frenzy.
1,000%.
I do remember one time talking to some like old white dude about baseball for some reason in the line of the grocery store, probably because I cannot stop myself. It's not even that.
It's a curse of our family, you do
It's like
realize.
what aura about me says strike up a conversation.
You and all of us.
And then what about me in my brain is don't answer anything, don't say anything. And then I'm talking because Moise Salou hit for the cycle. And he's like, oh, all right.
Oh, you shit, you know.
Yeah. And I was straight up showing off for you. Like it's flipped a switch right away because I'm like, you're underestimating me. I'm going to go hard.
Yep.
Cause like, and it like felt good, but also I'm like, what a waste of my time. What the fuck do I care if Harv thinks I fucking know?
Right, you're
about
never gonna see
baseball?
him again, who cares? But it is a line of dopamine when somebody underestimates you and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, no, hold my beer." And
But he wasn't even underestimating me. It's like I preemptively expected him to underestimate me and
Mm.
just like info dumped until he looked impressed.
Wow, that's profound.
Why?
It's because you info dumped and until he looked impressed, so your validation was per his impression.
Yeah, but like I didn't even need it for him to show his ass. I already intrinsically was like, you think I'm dumb. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if it had been something that didn't spark my interest, I just would have been like, oh yeah, huh,
No, you're pretty.
yeah, football.
Yeah, sports is a hard one. I think that golf is I don't
Ugh.
think I would ever get into golf for anybody. I feel like unless I always think that golf is fun with alcohol and having golf carts. I think that's kind of why
Hold the golf, am I right?
hold the fucking who needs those
A good
hitting
walk
balls?
spoiled.
Really?
But some people love it.
And do you? I'm cool, but you can't catch me watching anything about golf on television. You can't catch me. There's nothing interesting about it.
It is brilliant of the men to have created this sport, tied it to business so it seems like they have to go, and made it like a 6-hour marathon game. It is probably one of the smartest things to come out of the patriarchy.
And they dress like peacocks sometimes with those pastel colors and that plaid and those little hats.
For each other.
And little shiny shoes with the little look at that.
Ladies, we need our golf.
And if you talk to somebody that loves golf, it's like there's so much more about golf that you don't understand. You have to hit it with the right club at the right speed, at the right angle, and I'm like, okay, cool. So you're basically grabbing a different stick, hitting a very small ball till you get it closer and closer to the hole, and whoever gets it in the hole with the less hits, you win. Bet, cool.
The last thing I need to do is spend 4 hours on a Sunday quietly watching a man struggle to find a hole.
We could do that at home, baby.
Like I can get that in 4 strokes. That's 3 too many.
Oh, that was gold. Dude, what's the flag? Is the flag the clit?
Don't do this.
I'm sorry.
Hey, breathheads! This episode is brought to you by Cringe Notes. Tired of being left out and being called cringe? Overwhelmed by all the societal norms of what to stream and watch? Then you need Cringe Notes, the app that gives you a quick summary of every streaming service everywhere. Everywhere. Your bottomless need to feel included is finally satiated. Cringe Notes.
What advice would you give to a younger generation on how to avoid
Mhm.
those contrived pleasures Or if you were going to, how would you tell them if you're gonna learn something or activate that part to either better to incorporate into your person, your identity, or for the better? Like,
Okay.
learning how to do something and actually having a skill or a tool in your toolbox.
This is interesting because I think it's not cut and dry. It's a barometer, right? Listen, I know how to juggle because I had a mild crush on a boy who could juggle and felt, well, this is it. This is how I'm going to get him.
Dude, I remember that.
So I asked for the juggling ball set for Christmas. I spent all of winter vacation.
You got good at it
I
too.
did. And you know what? Today, to this day, there's a level of mediocrity, but I can juggle. And so I think it's that thing of, are you doing it? If this doesn't work, how are you going to feel? Like, you're going to be happy that you learned to juggle? Or are you going to be like, I can't believe I just watched 27 Fast and Furious movies and like, I don't even own a car. Because here's the thing. It's a slippery fucking slope, children. Because you watch one Vin Diesel movie and you didn't like it, but you pretend to like it. Now you're a Vin Diesel fan. It's the same thing with older relatives, right? Like, you mentioned Harry Potter once to an older person who has to buy you gifts. And then for every subsequent year, you have every kind of Harry Potter item.
Oh
Because
my
they're
God, you
like
have a Harry Potter cookbook.
a Harry
You
Potter
have a Harry,
clock.
oh my God, calendar. Oh my God, mouse pad. Oh my God.
I'm like, I didn't even open the Harry Potter calendar you got me last Christmas. I forgot.
God. What am I gonna do with this wand that I can only use in Orlando?
Anyway. So I think that's the thing. Like, it's a slippery slope. You're going to find out a little bit about football and act like an expert. You're going to get caught up real fucking fast.
Now your Sundays are
Yeah.
fucked for the rest of your life.
If a man asks me what my favorite Vin Diesel movie is, The Pacifier. That should give you all the information you need. And I stand by that. I would watch that movie right now. That movie slapped. Lauren Graham, God love her. Favorite Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie? The Tooth Fairy.
That was a good one.
But you know me, I have trouble, like, we've been sat down and been like, you guys are going to love this comedian. And even when I'm trying, I'm not an easy laugh. I'm just not, unless
No.
I am. Like, and so I think that's the thing, is be true to yourself.
Authenticity, I think, is the key word,
Yeah.
right? If you do it and it's inauthentic, eventually it will run out and you will be exhausted. If you are authentic to yourself and you do actually enjoy it, then get into it.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to wear the t-shirt and go to the concert and have the stub, stop wearing yourself out to make somebody else happy.
Truer words were never spoken. Stop wearing yourself out to
Yeah.
make somebody else happy. And like, some people like to be the expert on something.
Let them.
Let them be the expert. It's fine.
Let them.
And if they wouldn't like you unless you liked football and you don't like football, then
They
you
ain't
don't
your
li-
person.
they're not for you.
No.
Go to the 7th grade dance with someone else. You'll be fine.
Has there been anything that you thought that you wanted to add to your toolbox that you, and looking back in retrospect, you actually did waste your time, but it took you years to figure it out? You're like, now I have a toolbox that I ain't never going to use, and this is bullshit.
Heterosexuality.
I was going to say blowjobs, but yes.
You know, that's a really good question. I don't know. Cars.
Yep.
Because I dated a mechanic for a while and I developed strong opinions about cars.
Same.
And I don't give a Bugatti any fucking
Yeah,
more.
motorcycles all day. Like, I like a pretty motorcycle, and if a good looking guy is on one, yes. But don't get me on it. I don't enjoy riding bikes.
I don't
I'll-
enjoy putting my life in some
Correct. And I feel like I do have strong opinions on that. And I feel like I wasted my time a little bit. I wish I had more of an identity 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But I think that I learned a lot and I enveloped myself into that world. And looking back in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, it impresses dudes, but it's useless fucking information that I don't need. I don't retain it.
You don't retain it because it doesn't interest you. So what a waste.
But the fact that I tried to retain it, it's in my head now, living rent free.
Yeah.
And there's a neural pathway and it's got a motorcycle running through it. So
I think every time I like learn, like when I was in this, yes, I definitely want to talk about a dual overhead cam. Then it was like, hey, do you want to get motorcycle licenses? And I'm like,
absolutely
that's
not.
a no for me, dog.
Yes.
And I'm not going to get on the back of that thing. And so I think that's the thing, is trust your instincts, know your line, don't do it.